GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
Thursday, Firearm Travel and the Gun Show Loophole Tour. On Thursday, we explore the gun shops, shows, and firearms museums we have visited. Since 2016, we have traveled over 60,000 miles through 29 states to visit over 200 gun shops and more than 30 firearms museums. We'll also take a look at 2A rallies and gun shows from all over the United States.
Tonight's episode, Triangle of Terror.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern. And what am I typing in here? And we talk about guns for an hour. And on Thursdays, our topics are travel and training. So both of them will be touched today, I suspect, when we focus tonight on the 1992 Los Angeles situation, which you could call a riot or you don't have to call it a riot. So I was looking earlier for my videos of 2019. I think I went to LA and woke up on, I'll show you where I woke up at, and then drove down because it turns out I don't know if it was the anniversary. I don't think it was the anniversary. I don't think. But it turns out I was really close to where all the riots happened. And I had already done some other tours of Los Angeles. So it worked out. The stuff is very close to each other, and it didn't take very long. And I was able to tour all of the major incidents from the LA riot. So let's take a look at it. I got hiccups and I'm yawning, so let's see how long I last here. So quit trying to type stuff over there. So this is LA, and if you look at it, if it'll zoom out here, I'll move this over so we can take even more look at this whole thing. I don't have a poll going right now, so if you got a good poll idea, let me know. Looks like Makojo is joining us live, and DJ. If anybody else shows up, hey, otherwise, good evening, dudes. So this is LA, and it's just north of the international border with Mexico. It's about just west of Phoenix, I guess, a little bit. So we're going to zoom into Los Angeles, and when you do, the easiest thing, the most prominent thing is this little bulge out of here, right? So basically that is kind of south of downtown. The downtown is over in this area. So we're going to zoom in and go north of Long Beach, and where it says LA is pretty much all the high rises and stuff. So now what we'll do is flip over to satellite view. Everybody should have an idea of where we're at in the world now. Zooming in on Los Angeles, it's a giant city, but only certain areas are high rises and skyscrapers and stuff, right? So this white section here in the center is where the big buildings are, and you're looking at a lot of roofs. All these other areas, you're looking at trees and grass and stuff. So you're looking at yards, and it looks a little different color, green and darker and stuff. So as we zoom down and we start to see, it's basically all neighborhoods everywhere. It's LA for crying out loud. We drive up over here. There's the big buildings and stuff. And I don't remember exactly where I was, but I was probably right next to this field right here, actually. So we're going to just go down and flip over to 3D view. And so one time I drove to LA and I decided to hang out, and I parked on this street right here next to this field. And I did that because I wanted this view of LA. I guess it's going to drop me on the street. I wanted this view of LA in the morning, and I figured this would be a pretty decent view of the sun coming up. And at this time of year, the time of year I was there, the sun was going to come up right across the city from me there. So I was sitting here minding my business. Somewhere around here is like a van place, I think, where the van shoes are made, or maybe a warehouse or something. Anyways, just a bunch of stores and things. And then I started to drive around, and I guess that's when I started asking people where I was and if there's anything good around there. And that's when I figured out that I'm just, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I'm just north of the area where that all happened. So now we'll zoom out from that place where I woke up at. And I didn't realize there's a lake right there, dang it. So we're going to zoom out, and now you can see all those high rises and stuff in the 3D view, maybe. There they are. You can see them a little easier now when I put it in perspective. So that's the high rises in LA. This is where movies such as Night of the Comet were filmed. And now, and RoboCop, and Terminator. I don't know the movies that were filmed there. So if we're looking south, kind of towards Mr. Knives' house. And we're zooming up over the Hollywood sign right now, and you can kind of get an idea of that's how far the high rises, the what do you call them, the skyscrapers are from the rest of the terrain. So basically, you got the coast over there. This is that weird protuberance or whatever that comes out. It's basically a bunch of hills that come out into the ocean. If we were to look over here, and this point out here, oh, that's Malibu. So that's about the coolest place to hang out in LA, in my opinion. And then this is LA, the buildings, just so that you get another bit of reference. If we zoom around this way, and we're now looking away from or like looking inland from the, what do you call that thing, the ocean. And we look north, let me zoom out a little bit and figure out where I'm at. And we look north, then like right over here is going to be the Hollywood sign, I think. I thought maybe it's over here more. Somewhere over in this hill right here. Yeah, come on. It's over here. I don't know why it's not showing it to us. I think it's pretty much right there. It just needs more resolution, maybe. Come on, Hollywood sign. I thought you were right there. Yeah, come on. You're right here somewhere. All right, well, that's what you get when you don't live in California. I'm pretty sure that's where the Hollywood sign is, though. It can't be anywhere else. Maybe it's just way further over here. This is where Terminator came down. See where this little circly thing is? This is where Terminator comes in. Wait a minute. No, it isn't. This is where Terminator comes in. Nope, that isn't it either. Dang it. Where's this little hill? There's a little hill somewhere over here. Let me get my bearings again. Los Angeles. Yeah, it's got to be right over here somewhere. Yeah, I think it is here, and I just don't know that there's also a baseball park maybe. But that's also where the Autry Museum is and stuff. So it's got to be right here. So anyhow, it doesn't matter. Hollywood sign, that's downtown. And what we're talking about is the riots. Okay, so now we're oriented so that we're above the Hollywood sign, which has got to be right here somewhere. And now we're looking south, and this is where all the boats come in. This is the harbor and stuff that you hear about is having all the problems. And then over here, I don't know what's over here. And then it's Malibu over there. This is where the airport is. So we're going to go back down, and I don't know every little street in LA or nothing. So we're just going to kind of go down this way a little bit. And this is South Central-ish, I think. We're just going to say that's South Central. And now we're going to flip back to stuff because I don't know enough about looking around to know where everything is yet. We're going to go look at some streets. All right. So there's South Los Angeles, Florence, and Normandy. So this is pretty much where it happens, Florence and Normandy. So if you were live back then, you were listening to or watching the helicopters. This is where the helicopters that have been looking. Wow, that took a while. I guess there's just a lot of data here. So if we zoom into this intersection here, there's there's like a liquor store in the corner. We drop down right in the center of the intersection. So you got Tom's Market, I guess, this liquor store here. And this is where Reginald Dennehy, I think this is where that happened. He was just driving in his business, driving down Florence, I think. And then that happened right in this area. The whole thing started either here or here. I don't remember exactly which street it was on, but one of these two streets right here, somewhere in here. So the police beat up a kid, and then the neighborhood was already pissed for lots of reasons, I guess. And then lots of stress. Police beat up a kid who's doing graffiti, and then the police book it because the neighborhood was pissed and they were throwing rocks at him or something. So the police leave, and then a riot starts. And then the riot comes down to this intersection and burning stuff up. And that's when the helicopters come out here, from my understanding, and start going, oh, look, here's where all the rioters are. And look at all the police left, and they're way over there, and they're way over there. And the police aren't even around here. And these rioters are doing whatever they want. And then that's when the rioters are like, what? The police left? Right on. I can just go do whatever I want. So a whole bunch of them left and just started doing whatever they want, I guess. So this whole area burned down. There was about 6 miles or something. So I'm guessing these streets are probably half a mile. These little grids are probably a mile, something like that. And if you drive up a little bit, I think this is a school. And this, if we flipped it back over to the thing, it would probably tell us this is Koreatown. If we flip it back over to the thing I said. Will it say stuff like that, like where Koreatown is? So basically it's right here, though. And you really don't even need to go to that 10, I don't think. I don't think it's going to tell us. So let's just go in and act like we know what we're doing. So basically, I wanted to go see where the people were on top of rooftops. And all I had was some articles and some pictures to go from. So basically, I just went up north on Normandy a bunch. And is it on Western or is it on Normandy? You get up here a ways and then you're into this other area and it turns into like stores and stuff. And once it turns into stores and stuff, I don't think you go past this highway, did you? Nah, it's probably over here. So anyway, somewhere around here, you find a bunch of malls and little strip centers, and that's where most of the business happened, most of the burnings and riotings and stuff happened. So this isn't going to be that good because I don't have that good a recollection, and I can't find that video. I don't know what I did. It must have been a daily gun show that I did all this on, that I talked about the sit rep. So basically, it's like a couple of blocks like this and a couple of blocks like this, and then a whole bunch of stuff got burned down, and that's pretty much the portion of the town. What's going on? That's basically the portion of the town that we're talking about, though. So as we zoom out and look at it on a regular map again, eventually it'll come back to a regular map. This South Los Angeles section here, I don't think it went all the way down to here. It just was in this little section here. And if you go over and look at Instagram, which we might do, there's going to be some videos and stuff. So that's as much as I can offer after going in and looking at it and basically driving around. So you can look at a bunch of different news articles and things, and then they'll give you some clues as to where some of the pictures were taken, some of the things, like the significant events happened, I guess. And then the only other thing, I guess, is the LA Police Museum. Police Museum, which is right here. And that's where they don't really talk about the riot. But we're about to go look at their Instagram because they talk about the riot on their Instagram. And this is what the police museum looks like. And then I do have the tour of the police museum up there. Okay, let's take a look at what everybody's saying. So this might not be the longest show. I just want to get a little bit of reference there so that people know what we're talking about in the scale, because it's been a long time. And then some insight as to, or just give some conversation here about the significance of it, I guess, right? All right, so who was born today? John Marlin, John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, or John Browning? It's a lot of Johns. Thanks for the thumbs up. Let's see, so a bunch of everybody say hello. Angelina's out there. Lives in Los Angeles area. Oh, okay, good. I was wondering. So the package arrived. I have to pull everything off, install them. Okay, right on. And curious, make sure they fit, and then how strong they are. So thanks. So Angelina, I don't know if we did a live thing and you were on it, or if you were just talking, but she was there at the time, living in LA at the time. I was not. I was in. I guess I lived here in Tucson, but let's go to Instagram, and then go to the police museum. There we go. So they've been posting a bunch, and well, we're going to get into some of the stuff. So I'm just going to watch all their posts, and this will copyright the show because it copyrights us every time. We show their stuff because these news channels will copyright us. All right. So this one is still there. You can go there, and that's one of the ones that I wanted to check out. You couldn't go on the roof of it because it's like a what do you call it? Like a shopping mall, I guess. It's like a enclosed shopping mall, like a 2-story strip center. So you can't really go on the roof of it. I was hoping there was like a parking garage that you could go up on the roof of. This is showing again. We talked about these when I did the wrap up of Instagram last week, and this one definitely copyrighted me. So hopefully it won't copyright me for the visual part. But this one shows how they were basically holding their rifles and whatnot, and holding the mobs at bay with the what do you call it? Like just the what's the word? Like not brandishing, but just the visual of the silhouette of the rifle. It doesn't matter the rifle, just the concept that there's someone with longer range, with angle, higher angle, right? That was enough to resist people that were basically just, what do they say? The mob rule or whatever. So let's see, that one was there. That one is the guy crying at Winchell's. This one is saying many officers arrived to work the morning and would not go home for upwards of a week. Some worked through the nights into the following days, deploying through the city with no time to rest, confronting one chaotic scene after another. Residents and business owners were restless and felt a loss of hope. It's reported the National Guard was called to reinforce the police. Wait. It is reported that the National Guard was called to reinforce the police on the evening April 29th, but the restoration of peace would take days. I don't know why they say it that way. This was happening pretty much 24/7 throughout the whole country. So while it was happening, everybody was paying attention to it, and everybody who was not actually watching live coverage was talking about it. And this means in 1992, everyone had a taste of the concept that the world's going to end. This is the end of democracy. Remember, this is how Rome fell. This is it. It's all over. So you better get some food. You better know how to lash a deer's thing to make fire out of it. And then You know what I mean? Like, be like a caveman because it's over. Emergency broadcast system message. I can't even imagine with the resources that are typically available to handle the, you know, a high level of average demand being called to bear on massive, you know, need. Then you know, the emergency services are going to be completely overwhelmed, under available, whatever the words are, and everybody's going to start to get really frustrated. I don't know if there was a mass exodus, were people leaving. I don't remember that so much, but I think it was a lot of hanging out in place. And because it wasn't necessarily the whole city, it was being reported like it was the whole city. And those of us that have no idea how big LA is, of course, you know, have no idea how big what portion of the city this is. There's a van, so everybody knew they could be okay because there was a van there. It's safer. There's a white van, also safe. So this was, I guess, somebody just came out of a thing, was looting, and came out and just started shooting at people. And so the police, back in the day, just came up, shot him with a shotgun and revolvers, I'm guessing, in 92. Maybe pistols. So I did not go to this one. I didn't remember this one. Oh, the people in the van were the bad guys. That's unusual. Oh, no, they're probably not the bad guys. They're probably good guys helping to get the bad guys, and the police just don't understand. Let's just assume that. But I don't remember this particular one because I don't remember seeing this on the news or anything. This is creepy.
Saw what was happening and came over. One of the people here is Hauser. You may recognize him from KCET, his days at KCBS. You live in this neighborhood.
Every one of us live in this neighborhood, and we all saw and heard this happening, and we came over here, and every one of us wrote down the phone numbers of the people who were loading all of this stuff into their cars, and I think we've already all agreed that we're going to pursue this thing.
I think he means the license plate numbers, but this was pretty good. So this is Edward James Olmos basically telling people to keep their kids inside. Like, don't let your kids outside. If they come home to get something to drink, keep them in there. Don't let them out. So he's like pleading with the parents. I don't know what day this was, but obviously a couple of days into it. Then you've got the instance that potentially instigated the whole thing. But again, it's difficult to say an instance instigated. This was one of the straws that broke the camel's back. This is one of the things that instigated a level of stress into like the chaos or whatever. But this one was a girl who was in a store and was shot by the store owner. And then the store owner was given probation and a $500 fine. And the neighborhood did not dig that. And that was days before. I forget. This was April 21st. So the sentence was just days before. And then Rodney King happened. And then this is when he goes, "Can we all get along?" And I don't remember, but it took him like 100 times to say it. So it's interesting because everybody just remembers him saying, "Can't we all get along?" So this one says officers forming a skirmish line across Los Angeles Street during the 92 riots, also referred to as the 92 Los Angeles Uprising or the Los Angeles Race Riots. The department's response to riots and civil unrest rapidly evolved after 92, balancing the need to preserve life and property with that of ensuring the safety of everyone involved. In the events of April 29th to May 5th, take a variety of names and publish books or articles, but the incidents remain the same, as we use this platform as a point of reference of knowledge about the Los Angeles Police Department. We also present viewers with the variety of names given to these events should they encounter any publications with different titles or engage in discussion where a different name of these events is used. So I thought that was pretty good, actually, because I was giving them shit for calling it the what do they call it? The Los Angeles uprising, because that sounds stupid. And it was a riot, and 60 people died, and billions of dollars in damage, and they freaked the shit out of everybody in the entire country, maybe even the world. I wasn't paying attention to the world back then, but interesting, and I give them kudos for addressing that. And if you notice, there's a little chevron here. I'll be mentioning the police museum in a IG wrap up because of this post, because that's cool. That's interesting that they're addressing that. They either got a lot of kickback, flack for calling it that, or assume they were, maybe. So this is from up on top of that Hollywood sign, looking down at everything. And this is some dude, I don't know if that's a famous dude or not, just some dude, I think, pointing at the different places in LA. Like there's Hollywood, there's Beverly Hills, there's this and that. And then you can see where the fires are coming from. This one says, roots of the riot, not even 30 years after the 1965 Watts riots, referred to also as the Watts Rebellion, Los Angeles was experiencing another major civil unrest. In August of 1965, hundreds of businesses, mainly in South Los Angeles, were destroyed by looting and fires. These businesses were the livelihoods of many families and never returned. I don't know why they said it like that. I guess the businesses never returned. By 92, unemployment in some neighborhoods of Los Angeles had reached 50%. A lack of financial opportunities and inequities throughout the city and elsewhere would be a factor attributed to the cause of the 92 riots. Referring to videos posted of looting, it can be observed that people are not taking just entertainment items and luxuries. They're also seen walking out of stores with necessities like food and diapers. So I don't know about all that, but an interesting perspective on it, because there had been other issues in Los Angeles that were caused by the police department being mean to people and people being dicks to each other and killing everybody. So and then you got 65, and that makes sense if they destroyed everything in 65 in that area, and now everybody's deciding whether or not they're going to rebuild in that area, and now you get 30 years later, a generation or something later. I don't know how it was there. I never had been there before all that. So you hear a lot of rap songs about that area before that. This is 238 LA police officers killed in the line of duty and the loved ones they left behind. 27 were added to the memorial this year. 15 killed in the 1918. Oh, come on, whatever. So then we'll go to this one. And this was I also thought was pretty cool. So this is Edward James Olmos walking down the street with a bunch of people with brooms and rakes and shovels and whatnot. And they're going out there to clean up afterwards. And that's the thing. There's people usually just complain about the fire and then walk away and not even think about the opportunities and the consequences and the healing and the growth that can come from healing. And the awareness that, the extent of it, and then being able to see it after the fact, the scars, and then going back. This says a summary of the war on drugs, Operation Hammer, the rapid increase in homicides, violent crime in Los Angeles, and the Los Angeles Police Department's role throughout the action. So I guess this is Bush talking about crack as the cause of everything. Then we've got roots of the riot after the onset of the war on drugs. The department saw rapid militarization of tactics and equipment. For example, LAPD rescue, pictured here on display at our museum, was acquired through military sources. Originally an olive drab color, it was repainted blue and had rescue added due to concerns of its military appearance. Crime was skyrocketing. Gangs terrorized neighborhoods, and a drug epidemic harmed already vulnerable communities, and some sort of intervention was necessary to reduce crime and deter others from engaging in it. Los Angeles became a focal point of issues in crime occurring nationally. So then Operation Hammer was referenced in previous posts. let's see. So I think they made a video about this thing smashing through walls and stuff. So then I guess they went around. Oh, I guess in that thing with Bush, that's when they had a video of watching these armored trucks smash into the sides of walls and stuff. Let's see. Additionally, during their search for illegal narcotics, officers were reported by complainants to have smashed furniture, punched holes in walls, cut open sofas, smashed toilets, and damaged family heirlooms and photos. Officers were accused of vandalizing property with graffiti stating LAPD rules. The resulting lawsuit paid out nearly $4 million in damages and strained community trust in police. The search yielded 6 ounces of marijuana and an ounce of cocaine. So I guess this was after, or this was part of the reasons that everybody was getting pissed, because there was this war on drugs and the police were encouraged, I guess, to go be yahoos in pursuit of however much drugs which are now legal. But in pursuit of that many drugs, they were wrecking people's houses and making everybody stressed out. And yeah, so there's a lot to it. Anyway, that's the LA Police Museum's Instagram page. I'll put a link to that on here if anybody wants to check it out. And then that's it. I guess I don't really have much else to say about it. Oh, I guess the concept that, the bad stuff can happen or whatever, but then there's, I think, important stuff from it, like, say, the consequences and the results of it and what's happened. So as I was driving around, there's no memorials up or nothing, and there's not really anything to indicate which buildings were engulfed in flame or which ones are, new or anything like that. The one donut shop or whatever it was, and the Burger King that are kind of iconic from back in the day are just gone. I think they were just different restaurants, but no fanfare, no kind of memorial, 60 people and all that attention and stuff. And there's probably something somewhere, but again, nothing at the museum. And I can understand a city not wanting to bring it up, or even the country not wanting to bring it up. But at the same time, we're not going to learn nothing if we don't understand it. So I'm sure that that's one of those things that's happening today. People are still trying to figure it all out and whatnot. But in regards to the other consequences of it, is that idea that when you get a ton of people, for whatever the reasons, that are in that mob mentality, and they may be the same thing with who knows what the impulse would be. But when you get people in a mob mentality, then again, the individual standing on a roof with a silhouette of a rifle is universal, right? It worked, and it was able to stop a bunch of people who weren't really thinking, especially as a group. The group wasn't thinking. And when everyone knows that they've got the distance on you at a place of elevation and the firearm that can shoot at a distance, then you're not at risk of getting bottles thrown or Molotov cocktails and fire bombs and things like that. I think that's a big take home from it. And then the concept of how stressed out everybody got watching the news. I think it was, sure, the drug war and the government's jackbootedness was the straw that broke the camel's back, but that was created by the war on drugs and that whole situation. So there's those elements of it. But then also the element that it stressed out the whole country, that the 3-letter national news networks figured out that even while competing with each other, they could make a whole bunch of money exploiting the situation and freaking everybody out. And they leaned into that stuff hard. And I'm sure a lot of the talk shows and stuff got educated on how to get people motivated and watching their show by doing goofy shit. So this was the 90s when we had cable TV just starting. Back in those days, there was cable TV before that, but it was crude and it was in the big cities, and it was, you know, if you had the money for it, and this and a bunch of ifs. By the time the 90s came around, everybody was getting cable television. They were piping cable television everywhere because the infrastructure is what costs money. That initial infrastructure always costs money, especially when it, you know, it's literally laying down copper wires that cost money. Once the copper wires are laid and once the initial purchasers, you know, bring it out to the different homes, it costs nothing to supply subsequent homes with cable. So it, you know, took a little time and it cost some money to get it out there. Once it was there in the 90s, it just changed everything. So there's people that have never lived without a smartphone. There's people that have never lived without cable television. There's some of us that can remember when television stations went off at night, and then our parents can probably remember like not having television all day or something. Like we didn't have television all day, I guess, when we were kids, but there's probably like they probably didn't even have television, I guess, for our grandparents, if there's any of them alive. So yeah, we're looking at a time when the media really figured out how to lean into manipulation, and whatever or not their motives were before that, the consequences of all that are super interesting. And we've seen them not walk away from that at all. Like they lean into it anytime they can when there's some sort of uprising or riot or healthy, what do they call them? Whatever well, whatever their terms are for them. So they're definitely figured all that out. All right, nobody's asking. Well, let's see. We still feel the effects today in many ways. I don't know if you want to jump in, but yeah, feel free to point in any ways. Let's see. Well, there's definitely that one song. So people that live there probably are dealing with it in a whole nother level than those of us that, you know, just remember it on the radar or whatever. Some remember watching the radio. Yeah, but it was a little different because of those stupid helicopters. And there was helicopter news before that, but LA had an airport right there, and they had traffic helicopters, and you know, got nothing else to do. So they were going to go look at that stuff, and they were basically telling all the bad guys where all the good guys were, and not really caring if they told the good guys where the bad guys were, and the good guys couldn't do nothing about it even if they wanted to. So it got pretty crazy there. At least for what, you know, people that would take off work. And I can remember people taking off work just to stay home and watch TV because they were so worried about it. I guess I'll take a break here and throw a commercial up about tomorrow's show, and then I will take a drink here. All right, I didn't have to take that long a break. All right, so with that, I think we'll jump over to talking a little bit about the travel portion of a Thursday show. That had something to do with travel because we had traveled to Los Angeles to check out the, what do you call them, the locations. So here I have a spreadsheet where I have the entire year's worth of events that happen. And I use these color codes and stuff to make sure that everything in our website out here somewhere, which is probably not open. So on our website, guncalendars.com, so that we make sure that that thing is always, always up to date and full of all the different events that are going on around the, well, that have happened around the world. Not really around the world, but have happened around the community of firearms owners, I guess. So I've been adding a bunch of different events that happen annually and for whatever reason had not announced their dates earlier in the year when I did this. So let's go through and take a look at some of them. The stupid NRA meeting is coming up in Houston in May. So what? Yeah, this month down in Houston for 3 days, 2 days, 27th and 28th, 29th, I think it said is 3 days. So it's the NRA annual meetings and exhibits. So everybody pretty much goes there and fiddles with the exhibits. The exhibits are similar to SHOT Show, almost identical, except that at NRA show, there's no business taking place. So everybody's just there. The company or the manufacturer representatives are just there to explain the goods and to let you fiddle with them. So the exhibits are a way for the industry to cater to their customers and to the NRA members, and to give everybody a chance to go into an air-conditioned building and hang out and look at all this cool stuff. Nothing's really for sale at all. Maybe a sticker or like a patch or something they're giving you, maybe. Probably not, because too many people show up at that thing. There's no way to give everybody a sticker, even. That would be expensive. So don't expect to come home with a bunch of stuff. On the other hand, I haven't been to one since 2009 or 10, so it's been a while since I've been to one. Now, what I can tell you is what really is going on here. It's the NRA 2002 annual meetings and exhibits, right? So the meetings part of it is where the NRA board meets, and where the annual members meeting or the members have an opportunity to question and petition the board. In 2018, nobody was paying attention. In 2019, nobody went to it. 20, whatever, 21, right? So now we're in 22, and pretty much everybody's getting ready to go down there and play show and tell and slap ass, which is fine. But in 2022, we have an opportunity to hold people's feet to the fire who, might be super rich, might have somewhere between $30 and $200 million, and they are interested in becoming the poster child for the gun community. And one of the ways that they could impress everybody is by taking over reins of the NRA and steering it dead on into the fray, like they are, supposed to, really. So that would be interesting. So if anybody wants to go there and work on that, that'd be interesting. Then there's the USCCA concealed carry thing, which is in Texas also. This one's in Houston. This one's in Fort Worth. So Fort Worth is Dallas. For whatever reason, they act like Fort Worth is a different place, but it's just the other side of Dallas. So 11 through the 13th of November. It's not till later on in the year, and I'm not a big fan of USCCA, so I'm not going to go on and on about that one. I didn't put in my calendar, but I might. The Outdoor Writers Association of America. The OWA. So the Outdoor Writers of Association of America is, as it sounds like, an association of writers. However, they're allowed to write indoors. 200 of these writers are going to go to Wyoming and hang out for 3 days, and that'll be in May. So that'll be this month. Would you go to this? Question mark. All right, next up is the one of a couple gun shows I'm going to mention. So if you don't like gun shows, don't listen to this part. The Colorado Gun Collectors Association is the longest running, or might be, I think it is the longest running collectors gun show in the United States. And it'll tell us down here, I think. This one is the 56th annual Collectors Association gun show, and it's in Denver. Oh, wait, no, it's in Colorado Springs. Used to be in Denver. No, it's right by Dragon Man. So, damn, that is in May. That's this month. Damn. I've always liked to go to that one. Never been. I've been invited to go to it more than once, and I never took them up, and now I am not there. All right, so next up is Legally Armed in Detroit, which is Rick Ector, firearms instructor in Detroit, Michigan. And he does a shoot where he invites a whole bunch of firearms instructors to show up, and they train as many ladies as possible for free. Used to be for a day. I think now it's over a weekend. This year it'll be July 30th and 31st. So if you want to be a participant as far as an instructor, or if you'd like to get some free firearms instruction and be part of a giant event that trains lots of ladies in Detroit to shoot, I think, does it get them the whole, I don't think it's a whole concealed carry license. I think it's more of like an sort of what Tony Simon does with his 2A for E event, more of an introduction, orientation, and familiarization, and then some range time as well. Really cool event, and it's sort of almost assembly line Second Amendment awareness. Let's see, next up is the 4-H shooting sports coming up in June and then 1st of July. So that's quite a few days, and that's because there's a whole bunch of events, and that'll take place in Nebraska. That's right, Nebraska. Let's see, the next thing is OFAST, which I don't know why this is open, but OFAST is a Oklahoma full auto shoot and trade show. OFASTS. This year it'll be June 25th and 26th. I think it's the weekend after Father's Day. Is that how I remember it? Then we got the Mingle, which is not really open to the public. It's invite only. It's an event for ladies in the firearms industry. So all different kinds of ladies in the firearms industry get invited, 60 of them, to attend this up training and skill building and collaboration type of event. There are other things like this, and there have been other events, other groups do similar events, but the Mingle's been going on now for quite a while. It says in here, I think. So they've been doing this for quite a while, and it's a cool event, and it is in Georgia. And it's invite only, basically. So if you've gone to it, you can go to it, and I think they let other people in if there's availability. So next is in Kansas. Where's Gizzard? Gizzard was in here a second ago, wasn't he? Boom. He knew Kansas was coming up. So in Kansas, we got TriggerCon. What? TriggerCon is back. It's being sponsored by Un12. I don't know what that is. And we got 54 days approximately. It'll be in October 7th and 8th. Wow, it's 54 days until October 7th. That's where we're at in the world. It's October 7th and 8th of this year in Wichita, Kansas. Never been an event in Kansas before. Next is the Ohio Cartridge Show. This is a show for, there's Wield. Good evening. This is a show for ammo collectors. We in Ohio, and nobody ever goes to, or I go to, I've never been able to go to it, but nobody ever goes to it and reviews it or anything, so I've never actually seen it. Next is the Army-Navy Army-Navy Military Expo. I think that's how it is. So this is basically a little tiny SHOT Show for surplus stores. It's kind of cool. I like going to it. They do it twice a year, once during SHOT Show, kind of, and then this one in August. I've never been to it. I'd like to go to it one year. This is the Big Sandy machine gun shoot, which is the only machine gun shoot now that hour and a half for me. Then what do you call it? The Big Sandy is the only machine gun shoot we got anymore because of, why can't I think of it? Knob Creek shut down. They went out of business. They quit doing their shoot. So October 21st through the 23rd will be the Big Sandy shoot. Here's the thing. Most people can't handle it. It's too much for them. It's out in the middle of nowhere, and there ain't no facilities. There's no accommodations, so most people can't hang. Then we get the, let's see, North American Sporting Goods Wholesalers Expo and Annual Meeting. So this is an organization of sporting goods wholesalers that gets together and has a show for gun shops. So it's basically a little tiny SHOT Show, but it happens in October. It used to be like November or something. Maybe it was October. But anyway, it happens in the end of the year, and usually it's just a repeat of SHOT Show. About 80% of it is a repeat of SHOT Show, but 20% of it is a sneak peek of next SHOT Show. So this was always attended by the what's his name? Boje? No. Dang, I can't think of his name. But the dude from Gun Blast. They used to go to this one and scoop everybody on like revolvers and things because they would go see him months before anybody else did. Next, we got SEOPA, the Southeast Outdoor Press Association. In June 1st through the 4th, they will be having their conference. This is for outdoor press people. And if you want to go there and you're in the Southeast, that's where it is. Then there's Blade Show. There's another Blade Show that's happening, regular Blade Show, but then there's also Blade Show West, which is this one. And this is October 7th and 8th in Salt Lake City. Regular Blade Show is in Georgia, and it's like in June, I think. We'll talk about it in a second, I think. But, or maybe we won't, because I was adding stuff that I didn't already have in there, and I already had Blade Show in there. But Blade Show was so good that now they have more than one Blade Show. So they have they have had it before in California, in Oregon, and I think there's a Blade Show east. Like there's some Blade Show out east, I think, but I'll have to go double check on that. Let's go see. Yeah, I'll go look off air. Then Gun Rights Policy Conference. What? Yep, Gun Rights Policy Conference, 37th annual. This time it'll be in Dallas again, and it'll be September 30th through October 2nd. And this year will be Target Victory, whatever that means. So that's basically what it's going to say on the banner behind everybody. All right, so that'll be, where's the dates? Oh, I just said September 30th through October 2nd. I was about to say it right now. The thing that happens right before Gun Rights Policy Conference is AMCON, the Alternative Media Conference, right? So AMCON. And that is up training and skill building development for Second Amendment advocates, people that are going to the Gun Rights Policy Conference and want to get together and be at the AMCON for a day before it happens, before gun rights policy happens. Then we have the gun prom. What? Get friends dressed up fancy and go dancing with guns, I guess. So San Diego has got a gun prom this month. Next month, June 18th. And I think what the deal is there's more than one. This one is in Mission Valley. No, that one also says Mission Valley. I think there's either more than one or there's multiple ones happening at once. But I get the impression that there's multiple gun proms around California. And that is everything I've got coming up. So what I'll be working on is shoving all that stuff into, well, it's already in the calendar. I'll be shoving it into some sort of a document that I can use to give to Patreon so that they can use it, and then to use as a video or reference on a video. So we can give people as much info as possible on what's coming up. It looks like Gizzard might have found something that might be useful for him if the dates work out. Looks like it's not too far from him. And I don't know if that helped anybody else out, but we'll be posting that on our various places. We've got the calendar website. We also have a bunch of different socials, a couple of different projects where we chat about what is about to happen and what's happened in the past, so that we're better in conversations and debates with people, right? All right. That seems like a lot of talking, so I am done. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. If there was any questions, feel free to throw them over here. I will run a banner here or whatever for a minute, and that'll take some time. And whenever that's over, if nobody said anything, we will be back to pick you up later. GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com. All right, don't see anything coming in, so we'll be back to pick you up tomorrow. So let us know what you think. We'll be watching the comments wherever you find the video, over on gunstreamer.com or on guntube.org. Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourages you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching gunwebsites.com.